Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. I couldn't resist that. Alright, so let's get down to it. This video is about the thousands among thousands or millions of martial arts. Alright, so this video may turn into an anthology if I can get all of it in within the next hour before the kids come back to my mom's house and start running their mouth and stuff, and before I break down, go get my laundry and start playing God of War so I can get my cousin his game back. And give it up to Lipton tea. Lipton, you should give me a job. Also, because I love your tea. Anyway, so the conglomerate that is martial arts is something that a lot of people get misconstrued, alright? So you have Chinese Kung Fu, you have Japanese Karate, you have Korean Taekwondo, and now throw all that shit in a blender. You have MMA, and you have street fighting, and you have kickboxing from Thailand, aka the real shit is Muay Thai. Kickboxing technically is American. But, you know, you have multiple different styles from multiple countries. I'm new to the Filipino game, so I didn't know Philippines even had martial arts. Now I do. I don't know the name of it, but I will mention it because I have seen some of that shit and it's awesome. I'm new to the Samoan martial art. I know that it has part to do with the Haka, but I'm not Samoan. I'm of Cherokee, black and white descent. So, as a martial artist, I was shocked to find out that the Philippines and Samoa actually had martial arts. Also, Hawaii has a martial art as well, native to the Polynesians of Hawaii, which is basically kind of the same thing as the Samoans, not the same as the Filipino martial art. But the Haka is involved in the Filipino martial art as well, I think. I don't want to lie to you on that, but I know it's involved in the Hawaiian and the Samoan martial art, because it's like the ceremony they do before they begin the martial arts. Now, as far as Native Americans, we have a war dance. I don't know it, but we have one, and we have a rain dance. I don't know it, but, you know, most Native American tribes do have that kind of thing. Now, here's where stuff gets interesting. I'm more Kung Fu than Karate, and I started off in Karate, but Karate is a sub-child of Kung Fu. Alright, now if you go into, like, historical shit, you're going to have a big fight between China and Egypt, which is in Africa, by the way, of where martial arts actually came from. Henceforth, this kind of makes me wonder about that fucking time machine that I'm looking for. Alright, that's not a joke. So, Egyptian was proven to be the oldest civilization, and martial arts are on their hieroglyphics. You guys can go watch the History Channel, they'll give you all that. I'm not going into detail on that. So, here's that thing. Korean Karate and Korean Kung Fu are pretty much the same thing. And when you're with the crane, you see my hand, it's the beak. And when you're the snake, you're there. And when you're mantis, it's there. Alright? So, let me explain that, because Korean Karate, Korean Kung Fu, same thing. There's no room in here. But it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to go through the same motions. And, you know, the crane is the animal of defense, where the snake is the animal of attack. But that's because the snake is supposed to be sly. But don't think that a crane can't be sly either. The mantis is that enigma in between them, because a lot of the mantis form thrives and mimics crane as well as snake. Now, a lot of people don't know that. Now, if you're listening, you just got your free Kung Fu lesson. Now, the thing with a lot of Chinese Kung Fu, Wing Chun, Wushu, and Gung Fu are all more central, northern, and southern China. But when you go into, like, the regions of, like, northern and southern, then you got Shaolin stuff before they got, like, murdered and forced into temples and shit like that. They put a ban on Shaolin Kung Fu when Japan was ruling China during that whole World War II clusterfuck. Alright. And then Taekwondo is Korean. Kempo is interchangeable, because Kempo, I learned some Kempo, Korean Kempo, and Japanese Kempo, which is Okinawa Kempo. So, yeah, that's some confusing ass shit, right? Exactly. So when I was talking to Ralph from Big Dojo, because I was taught some from both, so I'm like, okay, so does Kempo fall into Korean martial arts, or does it fall into Japanese martial arts. It's a really complex thing with Kempo. And the same thing with Judo and Jiu-Jitsu and Bushido. And the code, Bushido is basically a code. It's not more or less a style, unless you're doing like samurai shit, which is still the code. But Bushido's one of those touch and go things. You kind of gotta, if you're not learning it, it's harder to explain it. Alright? But mostly Bushido is like an honor code versus a martial art. Alright? But it does have martial arts in it, but it's more of an honor code than versus like as far as the martial art is concerned. Same thing with like original ninjutsu, which is Chinese, and Japanese ninjutsu, which is Japanese. So basically what they did is they took everything that they were taught from China and then amped it up, if that makes sense for y'all. Now, ninja is the art of invisibility, which in layman's term, not so much like jumping around in black suits. That part came from Japan. But real ninjutsu from China, you just blend it right the fuck in. If you were to look like a peasant, you look like a peasant, and you relayed information to those who needed it. But if you were intercepted on your mission, you knew how to fight. Same thing when I tell you about the giant-sized fan that I use. Initially, they weren't that big. Some of them were, but they had, like Dynasty Warrior stems on it, the sticks, and they open up like that. But initially, they started like this, and they were for female fighters, the Asian Amazons, who fought with men to protect women from being raped. That kind of thing. So when you see Katana in Mortal Kombat, do this, and hers has blades on it, they had that shit. Alright, so putting that out of the way and getting off track, I want to talk to y'all about how many different martial arts there actually are. My cousin, him and I have a silent joke, and I'm more kung fu than karate, so he's always picking on me about how karate is better than kung fu, and I'm like, no, not for me, it's not. So I'm saying that for you, you will find your martial art, and if you watch my Fight with Honor videos, you'll figure out what I mean by that. You will find your martial art, and for you, it'll be just like Jesus. There will be no better style than the style you're taking, especially if it's your first style. I want you to scratch that idea and throw that shit in a bucket, because when I first started in karate, I thought there was nothing better than karate. Then I started doing research, and then I took judo, then I took jiu-jitsu, then I took a tiny bit of ninja, just barely enough to consider it ninja, but I still remember the things. And then I got into Kempo, and I got all that shit switched around because somewhere along the line Kung Fu was in there too. And so, alright, so you're Kung Fu. Let's make this an anthology, and let's start with Kung Fu. Alright, so initially Kung Fu was not called Kung Fu, it's called Gung Fu. G-U-N-G-F-U. Alright, Kung Fu kind of means like it's more like a mastery of something that someone told me. So from Gung Fu, you also have Wushu, Wing Chun, I think it's Shaolin Ryu, and you have Northern, Southern Shaolin, you have all of your animal styles. And the thing with that is, you also have your Drunken Master. Your emphasis on martial arts in general, initially most martial arts began with Kung Fu. Alright? And the thing with Kung Fu is that there's a variety of Kung Fu. There's more than 10,000 styles of Kung Fu, and every style has evolved as time has gone by. From whatever lineage it comes from, whether it be from the Shaolin Temple, because initially Wing Chun was taught by a female Shaolin, or at least that's what the legend says. I wasn't alive back then. I got no way of fact-checking that shit. But from the story of Wing Chun, it's a young woman who's like 5'1". She's just about my height. And she had to deal with some shit. That's the long and short. And then she was going around beating the shit out of men. I mean, she literally beat men like they were like pennyweights. They were nothing to her. And she was hands down one of the most dangerous females on the planet. Which is another reason why if anybody thinks that a woman is not as dangerous as a man, they need to do some reading. Alright? Same thing with Mulan. Yes, Mulan was a real person. Okay, but Wing Chun, I can definitely verify Wing Chun because my style is based in Wing Chun. Now, it's been elevated because the Wing Chun that I was taught was not traditional Wing Chun. It has Wing Chun priorities, same thing with Kung Fu priorities, but it's not completely traditional Yip Man Wing Chun. Alright, because Yip Man was her descendant. So, with a lot of Wing Chun, because I'm in here, I can't literally show y'all, because I'm not going to get up on this bed in my shoes and fuck this shit up. But, you know, short, sharp kicks, like boom, like really short, really sharp. Same thing with hands, you know, and when you're a shorter person, this works out for you a lot better. As I was explaining to my friend last night, you know, if you're going to fight a short person and you haven't done Wing Chun or Kung Fu, you need to fight them with Wing Chun or Kung Fu because it was made for shorter people. The art of fighting someone else is recognizing the style that they are using when they are fighting you. And then you will adapt to that style so that you can beat them at their own game. Fight your fight. But if you can't fight their fight, you got to make them fight yours. And if you can't get them to fight your fight, you got to adapt. Which goes back to why certain martial art moves work and certain martial art moves don't. It is not so much the martial art as the martial artist. Alright? So if I'm fighting somebody who's like 6'4", or i.e. The Rock, I got to work at my range. I got to draw him in. I can't go at his range because his range is limitless. He's 6'4". You know, I think Rock's actually 6'5". How you doing, Rock? So, with his long-range arms and his long-range legs, Wing Chun is going to be a tiny bit of a problem. And Kung Fu is going to be a tiny bit of a problem because of the short-range attack. Alright? You know, with the short-range attack, you know, you guys, you've seen it. So, you know, I got to get close for this shit to be effective. Period. Because it's a short strike. It's not generating enough power to do anything but piss somebody that big off. So if I'm popping at the Rock and I'm not hitting him in like the face, the throat, or the sternum, it's like bug bites. He's just going to be mad. So this is where Kenpo comes in. If I'm going to strike him, you know, because every joint is a pressure point and every block is a strike. So I will change it. So it go from a Wing Chun fist to a Kenpo knuckle or a karate knuckle. Because a lot of Wing Chun does not have knuckle strikes. Again, it depends on who's teaching you. So if I'm going Kenpo and I strike, because this was Kung Fu block and strike. Where if it would have been karate, it would have been block and counter. Or it would have been double block and then counter. Which I just switched off because that was more Kung Fu versus karate. Karate would actually look more like boom and boom. Where Kung Fu would be boom, boom. Or boom, break, boom. You know, so that would be, I'm pushing this side, and I'm pulling, well, that's fucked up, excuse me. I'm pushing here, I'm pulling here after that block. So, boom, you know, this hand was here, and the other hand was here. So, right there, because the fist is gone past. So, snapping at the elbow, because that kind of eliminates this shit right here, building a fist. You can't build a fist, you can't hit me back. Alright? So then after that, I'm going to slide up his throat. You know, because that's the only target I have unless I'm going to hit a free-floating rib or something. And when you're in a fight, you got to be fucking precise. Which goes back to, with certain styles of Kung Fu, they work on precision. Mantis works on precision. Crane and Snake, not so much, but they're like powerful, where a Mantis is small. So it has to be precise to do damage. Hopefully that made some sense to y'all. So here's the thing. When you're in your Kung Fu mode, and you're doing Kung Fu, you have to understand if you're fighting someone, again, especially as big as The Rock, because The Rock's 6'5", so, you know, I got to hit him in damaging spots. I can't hit him in solid muscle, and he's got pretty good abs, so I have to hit just where the abs and the chest have that crease. I probably shouldn't be teaching anybody that shit online. But anyway, I have to hit where the abs meet that crease between your chests. You know, the sternum, direct. But if he knows how to protect and he hits one of these blocks, you know, like the double clap block, I call it that. That's not what it's initially. For Thai fighting, Thai fighters know. This block, this block, this block, this block, you know, because they can swiftly turn that block into a strike. Boom, boom, you know, Thai fighting. And once they do that, they block and they hit you with that shit, it's not gonna look that slow. It's probably gonna look a lot less smoother also. So here's slow motion, blocking, and boom, it's gonna turn right there. It's not gonna be a jab. It's gonna be a straight forearm or an elbow, and they're gonna try to cut you. So they're gonna try to come down on your shit, unless you're like as tall as they are. Then they're just gonna come right across. And if you're not like back up here to block that shit, you're in trouble. Now, so the thing on that, I don't know why this thing does that. I can't prevent it from falling asleep. The thing on that, you know, when it comes down to certain martial arts, you have to realize, you have to understand that when you're fighting, you will learn what works for you. And this is why I tell everybody, if someone's doing MMA, that means they are well-rounded. And I say that because it's a fact. If you're doing MMA, you're doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're doing Jiu-Jitsu, you're doing Judo, you're doing karate, kung fu, kickboxing. Everything's in that bucket. I know we're supposed to be on kung fu. I'm going to get back on that, but this is important. So, you know, when you're in the midst of your fight, you're going to have to adapt, because it's just a fact of life that adaptation saves lives. Period. Adaptation saves lives in fighting and in training. So, if you're going against someone as big as The Rock, and Kung Fu is not an option, you need to switch off. However, again, what style of Kung Fu are you using? Rock's really big, Rock's really strong, so you would have to switch from crane or snake to tiger or dragon, and if those don't work, you may have to switch out of the animal styles into more of a Shaolin. You will not use Wushu on The Rock, alright? Because he's 6'5", and Wushu has a lot of flying in it, alright? So, you know, the only way you're going to use a butterfly kick in real life is if you really hurt somebody. It's the same thing I tell you with a tornado kick, and the same thing I'll tell you with a jump and spin kick, because honestly, those are your most vulnerable kicks. They look good in movies. They look good on the ice skating floor. But when you go for that butterfly kick, you are super vulnerable. When you go for that tornado kick, you are super vulnerable. When you go for the reverse tornado kick, you are super vulnerable. And people are like, you're not vulnerable? I said, yeah, you are, because if the person you are fighting has a good recovery, you know, you're going to get fucked up. You got to keep it basic. Basic kick, basic punch. Now, again, going against somebody as big as The Rock, you definitely want to keep it basic. You try to do like Wushu and you go for like a flying dragon, or you go for a tornado, and he just grabs you. You know, I'm 5'3", so I would never do that, because my ability to fly versus him being well grounded in gravity is going to work against me, which is why I'll have to like lure him in. You know, I wouldn't be able to go full on with The Rock. I'd have to use the tree technique. I'd have to use something to put me at a tactical advantage. Alright? Now, for Kung Fu, since I brought up the tree technique, I'm going to go ahead and keep going with that. The tree technique is really, really simple. And I say this because if you don't have the upper body strength to beat someone, then your ass better have the upper brain strength to beat them. Because your brain versus your skills, your brain probably will win out more than your skills. But you have to know how to use them both together to be victorious in a fight. And that's the thing that a lot of teachers also lack to teach you when they're teaching you a martial art, is that the most important thing that you need when you come into that dojo is your ability to use this thing here and your ability to adapt. Alright, when a fist is coming at you, you know you have a couple of options. You can block them, or you can get the hell out the way. Couple of options. You know, you don't want to absorb that shit. I mean, you can, because boxers teach you to tip your forehead. There's a tiny problem with that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go there. Zhang Weilei. Yeah, you see what she did to that lady's forehead? So tipping your forehead might not always be the best option. You know, I'm going to be honest. Block or get out of the way works for me. Because you're going to get hit in a fight. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. You have to be damn good to not get hit in a fight. And even those who are damn good get hit in a fight. So for Kung Fu, you know, there's an iron body technique. The tree technique. Iron body is a little bit more difficult to explain. Alright? The tree technique works way better. Iron body takes years of focus and concentration, and you could go Google the iron body technique. I can't guarantee you everything that I'm going to tell you will be based in fact, and I can't tell you everything that Google's going to tell you will be based in fact. But a lot of stuff, y'all seen my Mulan sword. It's flimsy for a reason, but I also thought that it was just like a trick sword for iron body, so when they push the blades in, it bends, so it's against the skin, but not in the skin. It's a long story, because I watched some Shaolin people do the shit on, like, History Channel or whatever, but they didn't go by the actual name of the style, which is the iron body style. And the thing about that is, I'm like, alright, look, I have nothing but respect for China and Kung Fu and legends. I love it all. But I also do live in reality. Swords can kill you. Yeah, let's just keep the shit real. A sword can kill you. So when I train with swords, I tell people, you know, if you haven't had official sword training, get it before you pick up a sword. Because you don't want to cut off your own damn arm. Same thing with kamas, you know. If you're going to do kamas, practice short sticks first. Short sticks is a part of Kempo, but short sticks is also a part of the Filipino martial art, which I just fucking discovered like 2 years ago. Because I didn't know Philippines had a martial art. But the short sticks, for Kempo, when I was taught short sticks, you know, it's kind of like the waving hands. I know I got off of Kung Fu, but everything is technically Kung Fu. But, you know, with the waving hands, you know, you just have sticks in them. In the waving hands, this is your whole central block, and this is your whole other central block. And you're blocking, you know, and then you can start turning, and it'll be like moving shit. But, you know, again, your style of Kung Fu will be the deciding factor. Your ability to adapt when somebody's a little better than you will be the deciding factor on if you're going to win, lose, survive, or go to sleep. Alright? We're all going to wind up going to sleep if we're not careful. Now, for Kung Fu, alright, again, there's over 10,000 styles of Kung Fu. There's more styles than I can demonstrate in this tiny room. And there are styles that I don't even know of. Alright? I think Tibet also has Kung Fu. I'm not going to swear to that because a lot of the Tibetan monks who protect the Dalai Lama are required to know a martial art because the Tibetan monks do not have firearms. In fact, I don't even know if Tibet allows anybody other than law enforcement to have firearms, which is also a problem because, you know, certain countries you don't have rights, and Tibet is one of those countries. That's why there's still always things about Tibet in the news. It's simmered down a little bit since the 90s, but there's always something going on in Tibet that we are not fully aware of. Alright, just to give you guys information on it, I actually met a Dalai Lama once. So, that being said, keeping it with Kung Fu though, you know, the thing with Kung Fu, alright, if you stray away from the animal styles, yes, there's more than the ones that I generally do. But those are the animal styles that I am not fluent in. Alright, so, Eagle, because the eagle has 3 talons, 4 if you count the gripper at the bottom. Eagle is just like tiger. You know, dragon and tiger are pretty much the same. They're just the yin and yang of the martial arts. Eagle's that enigma that comes in from the sky. Because even though dragons can fly, they fight in the ground and in the air. Tigers can't fly, but tigers can leap very high, so they fight on the ground and in the air. Tiger aggression, dragon wisdom. The opposite of each other. Although I can't really say if wisdom is actually an opposite of anything. You know, wisdom is knowledge. So when you obtain knowledge, how can that be the opposite of anything? But for all medicinal purposes, they're the opposites, according to the scale of animals and shit. There's more than the yay so many animal styles, because there are animal styles like the eagle that I am not fluent in. I know crane, I know snake, I know mantis, I know a little bit of dragon and a little bit of tiger. I know enough to recognize them and to combat them. But as being a master of it, definitely not. Jack of all trades right here. But, you know, with eagle, the movements are a little bit more, so they're like direct and grapply, because twisting tiger, twisting dragon, same damn thing. Foom, foom, yeah, you pull. It'd be better if I had a demonstration partner. But, you know, with that, you know, you have to really be able to adapt. Now, there's a horse fist, and that's in damn near every martial art. So there may be a horse style. I'm dreadfully afraid of horses. I don't like horses. I don't care for horses. I don't want to see a damn horse. I'm dreadfully afraid of horses. I had a trauma when I was a child. And now that we're talking about it, my thumb and my finger is burning right now because that's what the horse did. It bit me and lifted me up. I was 7 years old. It dropped me. It didn't hurt me that badly, but the horse thought it hurt me. And it hurt at the time. So every time I see a horse, my middle finger and my thumb tingle, and I'm dreadfully afraid of horses, just in case y'all didn't catch us the first time. No Native American jokes. Yes, I'm part Native American. Yes, they got along with horses. Not this guy. Alright? I stay as far away from horses as I possibly can. But there is a horse fist in martial arts. Some of them are like this, and some of them are like that, but it's still a horse fist. I don't know why it's called a horse fist. Horse have hooves. So whoever came up with it being called the horse fist, kudos to you, you jackass. But ancient kung fu. Now the thing with kung fu, I mean, trying to get it correct. So here's where I epically fail at explaining this to you. Because I'm at a loss and I've never gotten this correct. You can go fact check it. I promise you that I'm going to get it wrong again. So I want to say that it's Northern Shaolin that did all the high kicking. And the Southern Shaolin did all of the low kicking. And it's due to geographics. But I'm pretty sure that I'm saying this shit in reverse. So anybody who's Chinese, please correct me. Alright? Because I still don't know to this day. I've had a little bit of Shaolin training. Not so much Northern or Southern, but kind of a combo of them both. But I'm not going to shave my head bald. I'll wear the clothes, but I'm not going to shave my head bald. I worked real hard on this ponytail, and I'm going to keep letting it go until I can't. But for the most part, a lot of the Shaolin, even with their crane and their snake, insist on certain kicks from Northern or Southern. It kind of just depends. So that being said, if you're going into Shaolin Kung Fu, you got to understand, not all of the Shaolin Kung Fu is the same. It's not. The Northern and the Southern both had different kick styles. So, it really depends on their region. Something about their height and their leg length, I don't really know. Just, good luck with all that shit. And again, someone who's Chinese, please correct me on that, because I don't know which one did the high kicks and which one did the low kicks. But as far as their crane and their snakes, there's a Northern crane and a Southern crane. In fact, let's just be legit. There is a Northern and Southern style of Shaolin Kung Fu which have animal styles which evolves their kicks. That should sum it up. And it's the same thing, like with Wushu. Wushu is high flying. And up until probably 15 years ago, Wushu was a devastating fighting art. I'm sorry. I love Wushu. Please, if you're a Wushu master, do not get angry with me. Wushu has become a showman's art now. I'm sorry. It has become a showman's art, and as much as I love Wushu and respect it, and maybe I'm a little jealous because the doctors told me I could never do this shit again, it's a thing. So I will make more videos. The people just arrived. So I will make another Kung Fu martial art video at another time. Thanks for watching.